late.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit late.
A little bit.
We're late.
Hey,
We're late.
how you doing?
Hey-o. Beware, part 2.
Every couple months, I have a new text that I send out to like everyone I text, and now it's hey yo, with
Hey,
like all
yo.
caps.
So, hey, yo. Should we type in hey, yo?
Actually,
Hey.
I'll tell you what. I'll type it in the chat,
You type in
and
hey, yo, and see if we can get any
I'll
responses
show
on
you.
hey,
I'll show
yo.
you
Hey, yo.
how I
Hey, yo.
how I text people now,
So the best one,
or at least currently.
Monday we decided we were going to do Beware the Ides of March, right?
Okay,
Were we beware? Were we beware?
where we be? What?
Were we beware? No. We had all kinds of technical difficulties and we couldn't
Where
be on.
we beware?
We were not beware. Because if we'd been beware the Ides of March, we would have been like,
Is
we
beware
better be.
future or past tense? Is it?
Oh, absolutely.
What?
I think beware's on first.
I'm confused. I'm confused because where we beware does not sound like correct
We be werewolves.
terminology.
We be
We be
werewolves.
werewolves.
We be werewolves.
I don't know, maybe.
Well, but
I'm growing hair at an alarming rate these days, so I might be a werewolf. You know, might be.
too much
Okay, maybe
information.
Too much, maybe too much. No, I meant on my face.
Okay. Oh, okay. Thank
Come
you.
on.
Well, I was going. Okay, where
Come
you?
on.
I am so ladies and gentlemen. On top of being March 16th, the day after the Ides of March, Hot Shots Part 2, if you will, we are proud to announce that Ross says he's going into puberty. He's growing some additional hair.
Oh my god. Well, no. every like 2 weeks, I forget to like look every day, and then I'll notice that there's like more hairs there, and I'm like, okay, cool, that's cool, and then I'll go back and enjoy it the rest of my days, you know. And then 2 weeks later, I'll come back and look, and I'm like, oh, there's still more hairs there. Oh,
Oh, I just get fuzzier and grizzlier, and it starts like. So if I quit shaving altogether,
uh-huh.
so the first thing that would happen is it would inch up this way. So it's like there's little hairs here, and if I just let them grow, I bet eventually they'd fill in. So they'd be up to here. My eyebrows would be out to here. I'm telling you right now that, I mean, if you ever seen pictures of my father, you'd be like, oh, he didn't trim his eyebrows. Matt must trim his eyebrows or something. Because it would be the straight up, and they'd be
Do you
solid.
actually trim your eyebrows?
I do. I've got to make them, or they're like, they'd be a monster on Scooby-Doo. My eyebrows would be a Scooby-Doo monster.
You should let all of your hair grow out for like a year or something, and just
Cousin
see
It.
what happens. Yeah.
Well, so
Yeah. Go full Cousin It.
I've grown my hair long enough that it went like way down my back before. Somewhere around the house, there's a big tail. It's like a decade old. That's some sick crap. I don't know what's in it. Wife wanted to save it. Whatever. I think it's in a baggie in case she needs. Well, I think it's maybe in case you need to make another one of me or something. Maybe that's why.
I don't think I ever saved my hair on purpose. It just kind of falls out all over the place. You'll find
Pull it
tiny
out.
little
You
black
tease
hairs.
yourself. You constantly are.
Yeah, because I'm always touching it. I'm always in it. That's why every once in a while I would cut my hair, and then like I would hate that I cut my hair, but also like that I have short hair now. I have a love-hate relationship with my hair.
I like that you're back to your T-shirt
All over
image.
the
This is the album cover I'm looking for right here, though. The
T-shirt.
crazed, depressed.
I'm not depressed. Be crazy.
The best is.
I might be a little bit crazy.
I want to
At
note
least recently.
that he couldn't even find enough enthusiasm for that comment. But no, there's none of that going on.
Crazy. Listen, I got mountains of crazy going on.
Don't we all?
Mountains.
The worst is you get trapped inside and you end up feeling all alone.
Well, yeah.
And then they show up and they all stick knives in you, and the next thing you know, this kid you adopted is Caesar instead of you.
Well, no, I think you like walk out into the world with this idea of the world that you think is very, very normal, and people start like telling you like, hey, this isn't normal. Like this is a little crazy. This is a little off the beaten path.
We are so
You know?
allergic to change.
I think so.
So we're all like rooted in our perspective. I know I'm getting off on that perspective crap again. But so like these are at the perspective he could go forever.
Yeah.
He was worried about the eyes. There'd been
Yeah.
talk. Anyways, but eventually everything goes.
Right.
So the more of it you're attached to, the more it drives you crazy because your perspective is totally a lie. It's a full-on lie. Science tells us that A, your memory lies to you. Those things you think you know,
That is very true.
you make
You
stuff
get-
up. You have explanations in your
Yeah.
head for why things happen, and they will stick longer.
If you've ever gotten into a conversation with three people who like you guys all have this collective memory together, and you guys start talking about this collective memory, oh, it's a complete like show of excrement because you guys are just talking about how, oh, I remember it this way. Oh, I remember it this way. Oh, I remember it this way. And it's like we all remember different things, so maybe it didn't even happen. Is really what we're trying to say, you know?
Well, so, but once, so it's easy to question everything out here. Okay? It's easy to be a contrarian.
Right.
You may have heard.
It's very easy to be a contrarian.
I
especially
thought for
when
sure you
you're
were going to
going
look
through
at me
your
and go, no, I don't know if that's true. I think it's kind of unusual.
own- No, I wasn't trying to be a contrarian in the moment. I just agree with that statement.
Oh my God, I'm going to fall over. He agreed. Somebody write that down. Um,
Well, it's recorded, so it's kind of hard for me to deny it.
that it gets real hard when you get inside and start going your perspectives a lot.
Say that again.
It gets really hard when you go inside and you realize your perspective's a lie. The only valid way you can see the universe is through everybody else's eyes.
That makes sense. That makes complete total.
Now, I have the issue that devalues my perspective, don't get me wrong, but in my head it doesn't matter, it's all my perspective anyways. Or something like that. I don't try to figure that out. But anyways.
Well, I will say I may be remembering this wrong because memory is a lie. But when we were watching that documentary, or not documentary, it was a comedian. She was talking about how she has bipolar disorder.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
And she was talking about how like she went through a string of like dating people and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and like every time she would date someone, they would tell her she was crazy, and she would be like more and more receptive to the idea that maybe I am a little crazy. And then she went to go figure that out.
My favorite. Okay, God, I wish I knew her name. First name's Taylor, I believe. But it's on Netflix. Young lady.
Yeah, it's really.
Let me say
She's
very
really
attractive.
funny.
But she talks about mental health, and
Mhm.
maybe we'll find a name for it. Throw it up somewhere.
Right.
That this is one of the realities of being bipolar. Whether I am or not is all up for debate because they don't really diagnose us anymore. They just kind of keep giving us meds and see what works.
Let's see what happens.
We're a big chemistry experiment, us crazy people. Just if you're wondering where the weapons of mass destruction are, all the chemicals are in us. So eventually she realizes that almost all of her meds are related to treating bipolar disorder. They say they're treating depression and anxiety. But they
Yeah, if they say that, you
it's
might.
just general. Your insurance covers it.
I
That's all they care.
found that I skipped a lot of red tape by asking my psychiatrist. The first one I ever saw, I was like, "What do I have?" I asked the first one, and she was like, "You have this, or you might have this. Really, is what we think. We're gonna give you meds and see what happens."
Actually, I embrace the not knowing.
So, you embrace
Anyways,
the
let me finish the other story real quick.
Okay.
So she realizes that all her meds really kind of lean towards treating bipolar disorder.
Okay.
So she goes to her doctor and goes, "Hey, I noticed this about my meds. It sounds like maybe I've got bipolar disorder." The doctor said, "You might be right."
That's not.
That was what
something
she
you
was
wanna
talking about.
hear
But-
from a doctor at all.
But it is or it isn't. No. Here's I'm going to make an argument on the doctor's behalf here.
Maybe.
No. The hardest part, how can you diagnose mental illness from outside? So in the end, yeah, it's not precise because you're trying to decipher somebody's masks, trying to figure out what they're showing you, what they're not showing you, how they're really feeling, watching their body language, talking to them.
Right.
So there's a reason why it's a crapshoot for the doctor. I can't blame it, man.
Right.
We're
There's a lot of
crazy.
There's a lot of diagnoses that they don't use.
Well, then I don't think
Just because.
personally, I don't think people should get attached to that.
Yeah.
You know that. Why do you really need to be Caesar?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Why do you need the title? I don't really need the title. So anyway. So she tells her friends, "We figured it out. I'm bipolar."
Mm-hmm.
And this is the experience all bipolar people actually experience. They tell people, they go, "You know what? Wow, I just figured this out."
Mm-hmm.
And 201, all of their friends go, "Wow,
Yeah,
that makes you know what? That makes a lot more sense."
That's connecting some dots that I thought were kind of weird about you. Yeah,
that you're expecting that moment of.
You're expecting all of them to be like, "Nah, that don't make sense for you," but like, no, they're all like, I mean, it's kind of accurate. What I know about bipolar.
If you think everybody in the world is crazy,
Right.
and everybody in the world thinks you're crazy, based on statistics, no, you're crazy.
I tell you what, I personally, I take a lot of comfort in having been given a guideline of what I might be going through, just because for so long I had no idea what I was going through whatsoever.
Okay.
So for me, I take comfort in knowing a little bit of what might be going on with me. So, that gives me a little bit of comfort.
So mine was, so a year ago. We're talking about a year ago, because I know somewhere in the book is my Ides of March page, that I wrote Ides of March. Because I always, every March 15th for some reason, me and Caesar. Because the day Julius Caesar died, you know, et tu, Brute, everybody in the entire Senate staff, it was an agreement. They were like, there was some skullduggery going on right there. They were all like, "Yo, we sticking it to Caesar on the Ides." One dude would be like, "Why the Ides?" Because, man, isn't it funny? That's what the prophet said when he would die. So we scheduled it that way.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if one of the senators like paid the oracle to like there's no way we could possibly know this at all. I'm just saying.
No, I'm suggesting, as opposed to they paid the oracle.
Imagine they paid the oracle to not say anything about the Ides, and the oracle's like, something gonna happen on the Ides. I'm gonna tell him about it.
Way separate. And so in my head, it's that everybody, nothing against gypsies, nothing against people that tell fortunes. I'm going to tell this in a way that may be offensive to some people that feel connected to things. I don't mean it that way. Oh, what if they're like, "Damn, everybody knows the prophet don't know that. Oh, that's crazy, prophet." Man, I got a joke though. What's that? Hey, I got.
Oh, no. So you think it happened the other way?
You know how we've been talking about Office Caesar? Well, yeah, man, we all got off Caesar. Well, I was talking to Brutus, and Brutus came up with this. Brutus was like, "What if we actually kill him on the 15th? Make it easier to remember. I mean, we already know that's when they predicted his death. We don't have to talk about it. We'll just be there." Meanwhile, Caesar's listening in on the Nixon tapes going, "Brutus!"
The two parte means like you two, right?
Et tu, Brute.
What it?
Oh, and you Brutus.
And you Brutus. Okay.
And you Brutus.
Yeah. That's his last words.
Well, okay.
Maybe. Probably not. Maybe.
As shared by
Shakespeare.
So I mean,
obviously,
there's a lot of time in there.
Shakespeare was not in the same.
Did Caesar die? Did he come back to life in 3 days? Were there bunnies? I don't know. Were there bunnies? Yeah, no, we know Caesar existed. We got pictures. I will say this. You want to rule some land, man. You want to get your pictures out on some coin. That way everybody knows what you look like.
They used to do busts and stuff, right?
We have a bust of Augustus up right now.
Yeah.
We should talk about Augustus because Augustus is Caesar's adopted kid.
I don't know anything about Augustus, but was he one of the crazy...
Augustus or
Augustus? I don't know anything about Augustus, but was he one of the crazy leaders that ruled Rome? Because I know there were a couple of them that were like kind of cuckoo.
No, it's not Nero. It's not Claudius. It's not Caligula.
Okay.
Well,
he's not one of those terrible.
He's not.
Okay.
Augustus is much more in the vein of Caesar. in the
Okay.
sense that Augustus was Caesar's adopted son, and the plan was that's the whole weirdness of it. In the end,
They
Augustus was
basically
getting it
replaced
anyways.
Julius.
Well,
Caesar
it
with
was
Caesar.
weird, sort of. There was some time for it. I didn't study all of this today. I should have.
Me neither.
Okay, but the point is, have you ever gotten so big with yourself, gotten so much ego that your first thought was, we should add another month.
No.
We should name it after me.
No, I don't think I've ever had that
Okay,
thought.
okay,
And
so-
if I ever had that thought, please slap me.
You know that, okay, so January is Janus.
Uh-huh.
That's a Roman god.
Okay.
And then you've got December, Decem is 10. How many months are there in the year?
Well,
Why is the 10th month the 12th month?
why is it 10th month and 12th? I don't know.
Oh, because the first two Caesars are incredibly egocentric. We end up with Julius and Augustus.
Oh, that is a good point. That was what you were trying to say earlier. I was so confused. The 10th month is the 12th month. That doesn't make sense.
Well, and November 9,
Yeah,
September 8.
yeah.
No, September 7.
That is strange.
Octo 8.
I should have noticed that in Spanish class. Because they taught us all the months and all of the numbers within like a week of each other. I really should have drawn that connection.
Well, it's kind of and then I mean it's kind of interesting the way we do when you break it down into weeks. So the impact of people once they're gone, right? So Julie gets a month, Augie gets a month. Julie and Augie. I liked Augustus though; that was kind of nice. But there was somebody that put up a picture of a Caesar dressing with a knife in it, and they said wouldn't happen on Paul Newman's watch. And I said, no, the Senate even needs the knife of Paulius Numinus.
Paulius Numinus? What?
Well, every senator put their knife at Caesar,
Yeah,
so that you couldn't blame anyone.
right,
It was a deal. It was like
right.
hey, picture a line of people walking up and sticking a
It's
symbolic
like
knife in.
communion, but with knives. It's very Roman.
The blood of Caesar turns into days at the
The
end.
blood of Caesar. Now,
Well, but then
we're
if you-
making the blood of Caesar.
But if you work your way down,
No, now we spill the blood of Caesar.
now look at our days of the week.
Uh-huh.
Thor's Day,
What is it? Thor?
yes. Woden's Day.
That
No.
one's... Is it?
It's not I'm not
Is
stretching.
it a stretch?
My
I don't
no,
know.
I'm telling you things. I'm not
Woden's Day?
stretching.
I've never heard this. That's why I'm asking if it's a stretch, because I've never heard this in my life. I literally would have never made that connection on my own. So I'm wondering, is it real? Okay? Like,
Why would I bring up a connection that's not real? Do you see the problem in our
Woden's Day.
conversation? You don't even trust me enough to.
Woden's Day. That's so, like, it's close enough to Wednesday that I'm like, okay, that kind of almost makes sense, but it's far enough that I'm like, what?
Okay, but what I'm doing is giving you information. My question is, do you notice that you have
Why are
zero?
the days of our
Ex-
week based on...
Now you.
What about the rest of them? Like Saturday and Sunday. What about the rest of them? What's going on with those? Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks. Yeah.
Why is it such a weird conglomeration? That's literally what I was bringing
Oh,
up.
they're from all over the place. Okay.
You're going to get lost in the
Okay,
individual.
cool.
As I promise,
Cool.
I'm not going to bring weird things that I don't. I won't. You got to trust me a little bit, man. Just a little.
I don't know how things connect, so I just
No,
wonder
I
whether
know.
or not they connect.
But
That's
do you
what I
ever
wonder.
think I know how things connect?
I assume, yes.
No.
But-
Tell me what you assume.
Okay.
I assume no.
I assume no, because you also connect Michael Jackson, Prince, and Bruno Mars, and I will not describe how he connects those. Okay? I will not describe it.
You know what? As the offspring of such a beautiful musical trio.
And
A
you
throuple-
describe
a
and
throuple of
you
love.
go with and on top of it all,
Birthed from the
you
holy
go with
orifice.
Smokey Robinson, Diana Ross, and Michael Jackson.
Okay. But when I know what, but don't I tell you when it's an opinion?
Mhm.
And don't I tell you all of those things
You
are
always
opinions?
preface it with that.
And if I don't preface it with opinion, guess what? Ta-da! It's almost like I'm compassionate about my communication. I try to be really honest about what I don't know because I don't know things. The majority of what I know is that I don't know things.
Yeah.
That,
I try not to go along with things that I don't know.
well,
If that makes sense.
then you better start using a phone mid-show so that we can have a conversation. I get
Okay.
if you can't trust me enough to go, hey, I'm in a room with a guy that I think might.
I don't think that you might lie to me. That's not what I think. That's not what I think. I don't assume.
You think you constantly, you don't.
I don't assume. I don't
You
assume,
assume-
malintent into what you
Yes,
say.
but you always assume people are wrong. You don't. There's no one on that list of people you go, you know what? If he doesn't know, he'll tell me, and if he does know, he'll know.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't believe in.
Because my problem is what I have to do.
I believe in questioning everything. Everything that
Oh, no,
comes to me, I question,
Well, no, I get that.
or I try to. There are some things that
But
like.
if you're
There are some things that slip into my like brain and they make sense, so I don't question them. But I try to question as much as I can, and I don't know if that ever. I think
But
that's
the problem
probably
is
where
your
I get.
primary source is the internet, which
What I'm
is not a
saying
good
is-
place to
I think
then you
that
kind
a
of
lot
fall
of
off.
that probably makes me very contrarian.
constantly. Yes,
But-
it makes it very difficult. I'll be honest.
But I'm okay with. I'm okay with being a little contrarian. I'm okay with that. I
feel the
will
love.
accept it.
Do you
I
feel
will
the love?
accept it.
Yeah, I can express what I need compassionately, and people will go, "No, that's okay though. I'm fine with that. I don't mind how it makes you feel."
No, I don't.
That's what you just said.
That's not what I mean.
No, but I literally was
That's
just
not
like,
what
you know
I
what, God delivered it, and you said, but I'm okay with that. And I'm like,
I question everything.
I want you to question everything.
It's what I want to do. I
But
don't
my
wanna
point is, what source, what's valid to you anywhere then?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Hey, words don't matter. The reason I can just spout out all the words, I'm not attached to them. If I know I'm right, I'm right, and if I don't, I'll say I think, or I'll say in my head, or I'll make. I am very careful about that because I grew up in a world where opinions were great, but you should make sure people knew they were opinions.
Okay.
That spouting opinions like facts, you
Mm-hmm.
can spout facts all day, but they
Right.
better be checkable.
Right.
Opinions are opinions.
Right.
In debate, opinions don't matter. It's not worth your time to debate somebody that's debating opinions.
What's a random like fact that you learned that was just like blew your mind?
It doesn't work that way.
I was just
No, the weird
Okay.
part is it's that everything's connected. Everything in my head. So what happens is things pop.
Mhm.
It's always grinding. I'm better at clearing it now, though.
well maybe not blew your mind, but just two things that are connected that you would have never connected had you not found out about the connection.
Elephants have a 7-foot penis and can move it prehensily. They can literally smack you with it. They have as much control over their penis as you do your arm,
That's
but without
terrifying.
bones.
That's terrible.
And so literally they could beat to death a village with a 300-pound penis.
That's horrifying.
These are
That's
You
a
ever-
horrifying.
do you know what
fact
prion
about me.
disease is?
What is that?
That's when you get a thing that infects you that makes your proteins start stacking in the wrong way.
What?
It's incurable and there's nothing you can do about it.
Prion disease.
How about no?
Is it spelled like fryer with an N?
I think it's PRION.
Okay.
If I remember, somebody could correct me. I'm just spouting at the moment.
Okay.
Oh, I know another one. If you eat an apple a day, you'll keep the doctor.
You'll keep the doctor away.
How about this one? If you're present in the moment, you'll actually experience life instead of suffer through it.
Okay. That sounds.
You know, that the trick about compassion is feel all of your pain.
Mm.
Own all of your pain. Own every last bit of it, every inch of it, and never allow yourself to do that to another person. Anything that you can identify.
Mhm.
whether it's lying, whether it's killing Caesars, whether it's that the problem is everybody's pointing out here. Everybody's got a reason why it's this, why it's this, why it's this. All those things that constantly frustrate you, yeah, they keep coming back because they're lessons you need to learn, not because of the people. True story, but it beats me up. So I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I get kicked out of a group on Facebook, man, it happens, you know what I mean? Ever been banned on the old Facebook, you know what I mean? I was trolling it up out there on the Buddhist waves and the internets. Okay. I was trying to meet people compassionately, and we were starting another page, and the tags got left, and people were afraid that, oh my God, Buddhist here, might want to go live with the Buddhist there, and I don't know if you know this, you can join as many groups as you want on Facebook. I don't want your members. I'm not attached to your members. But anyways, what I got out of that, though, was a really different thing. So I spent a lot of time thinking about, wow, that's weird. You know what? In my head, that's not what that's about. Okay, so inside me, my opinion,
Okay.
right? So I began to think a lot about the fact that why are there so many groups of people that agree, but then point their finger at each other as the other group is bad? Why do so many groups believe in compassion, but then somehow in their head get away with the idea, but that group's got it wrong? That when I search the world, what I find is that same thing that was happening in that small group.
I think it's really easy to get jaded into believing your opinion is always right.
I think your opinions,
Or at least your opinion is the only thing that matters.
Opinions are always wrong. Wait, that answer. Opinions are always wrong. Facts are different.
Well,
I've let go of facts too, to some extent. I mean, they're all stuck in here, but I don't think we're given a valid way to stack the Legos. So the Legos all float in my head, and they're constantly stacking in different ways. That when I look out, I don't go, oh, I belong to this, or I belong to that, or I'm this, or I'm that. No, I'm this, and I'm me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's how I know that as long as we see each other, we can realize that again.
Mm-hmm. I think to some extent I have like maybe not a preconceived notion of how Legos stack, but like I think Lego, like, I don't know, maybe that is what it is. I don't know. I like my Legos to stack a certain way. That makes sense.
But that limits the ways you can stack them.
That's true.
Anytime
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I'm fine
That's
with
true. Yeah.
But in the end,
It's accurate.
for me, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
There's all this stuff coming in,
Mm-hmm.
and I let it go through and it just see how it goes.
Well, my thought
Because
is,
if I assume I know how it goes,
Mhm.
I've just denied myself most of the knowledge I could have received.
Well,
Anytime I know something, I've decided I'm not learning something.
my thought is if you're, it depends on whether or not you're comfortable with the possibilities and all of the different ways that they can stack, and if you're comfortable with the ways that you're comfortable with. And I think
No,
that's two
I don't-
different things.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'm not saying.
Mm-hmm.
My point is that the more you assume you know,
Mhm.
the less you're capable of. That the more you go, well, no, but this is how they go, that's the part that will distort reality to make sure you know this is how they go.
Mm.
Because you won't accept the reality of them going the other way. So you're not going to see that.
Mm-hmm.
When the ships are on the horizon, no ships. Anybody ever heard the ships on the horizon thing? I guess that's Augustus on the horizon, just how somehow I'm going to wrap this up together, because we're... not really. We got about 15 minutes. So, back in the day, down in South America, and I don't know why I'm talking like this, because I don't sound South American. But, back in the day.
You sound South American, just not South American. Anyway.
Yeah, I know South American, not
Yeah.
South American. Yeah.
Yeah.
South. I'm like from South American, as opposed to. I don't have an accent for South American,
I'm from South America as opposed to South America.
right? I'm from Columbus, Georgia, not Columbus, Ohio. So these boats are coming. Dun-dun-dun. They're the conquistadors. Well, it ends up, these tribes have never seen boats before. What a concept. And they can't see the boats. This was written, I take it there's a tradition where this was written down. I don't remember the specifics. I just always found this amazing.
Mm.
So, medicine man, the shaman, they can see waves. They can see the water not right. No concept of boats. That it wasn't until X number of days of paying close attention, he suddenly saw them. He suddenly accepted that there could be something there that he didn't understand. And then he showed all the tribal guys, and they couldn't see him, so he was like, oh, look. Like, it's not magic. The point is, your brain is constantly making up a story to fit your story. However, you've decided you tell your story. So you have some control over that. You can work on changing perspective, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But what you will see, yes, the Legos will be stacked the way you expected.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't mean suddenly you're going to get you're going to see ships on the horizon. I don't know. Augustus sailing in to save the day.
Mm-hmm. Wait.
Bad show host smoking cigarettes. But anyways.
Oh, I didn't realize. Okay.
But my point is, though, the more you limit something, the less it can do. It's as simple as once you call it a pencil, is it a chopstick? But you could use two pencils as a chopstick, right?
Probably. Yeah.
But you follow that. So that's just a really simple way to define something where you're going, oh, that piece of wood does this.
I don't know if the lead in pencils is lead wood.
First of all, it's graphite. There's no lead in it. But,
oh, cool.
Graphite ain't great for you. I don't know. I wouldn't do it either way. My point was not about. Anyways.
Some thoughts. That's all.
That as we attach something, a meaning to it, a person.
Right.
Like, think about somebody you know, somebody you really like for a minute. And go through a list in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Julius did this, and Julius did that. There was that thing with Agrippa. He went to Gaul. But it's a list. How well do you think that defines that person?
Not at all.
Now, extend that to other things.
I don't know any more about that person than I would if I knew them personally. And
how you gonna stack the Legos then? You know what I mean?
I still think I would be a little bit ignorant to say that I know that person, even if I know that person on a personal level.
Well, right. Now, if you define everything you know, not as I don't know anything, but as what I know is all I've got's that list.
Right.
So it's not changing whether or not you know. Okay, it's not changing whether or not you know anything about anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's admitting you know less than more.
Yes.
It's admitting that your suppositions are based on perspective, and your perspective is a
lie. Is that
liar.
Oh, okay.
Lies to you all the time. That you already know. Your perspective is more than happy to lie to you to deal with the fact that it doesn't want you to have any cognitive dissonance. It doesn't want you to feel like the world's falling apart.
Well, my thought has always been I can't think the thoughts that another person is thinking, so how can I know anything but what I think?
Okay, we're talking about defining things.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying.
Right.
That's why I'm saying when I go to define something, I feel like I would need to almost know what they're thinking in order to be able to define them. And it's not my place to define
go outside. Go outside to objects now, though. Extend. So we started with people. Now we're looking at the fact if you define knowledge, forget people.
Okay.
Even things you think you know what you know is a static list of facts about that thing. You don't even really know that much.
Right.
So that the stuff you go, oh, I know this. Even that you have to go through, this is what I know. This part is opinion. Because most of what we think is attached to our brain explaining it to us. Everybody put their knife in. See, nobody was killing Caesar. It was everybody. Brutus, watching you.
Well, it's like
beware people named after months.
I've always thought that in addition to not being able to trust other people's perspective on things, I've not been able to trust my own. Just because, like, okay, I have a different perspective of World War II than a historian. And a historian has a different perspective of World War II than someone who actually lived at that time and was
but you know yours is totally made
like
up,
that,
right?
and was in the thick of it. Yes,
that a historian has an actual.
Yeah. No, I know that they have.
No, they have facts.
I'm not saying.
Compare your
I'm not
opinion
saying.
to a historian.
No. Hold on. I'm not trying to say that they're equal. I'm not trying to. No, I'm not trying to say that my opinion is equal or anything. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm only saying my perspective is limited to the amount of knowledge I have on the situation.
Right.
That's what I was trying to get at. Not that I'm saying that I'm equal to a historian that studied it or anything.
Okay, and I apologize. The biggest problem is over the last 4 years we've seen people talk about perspective and opinion like somehow it is on par with facts. Like they would counter facts with, well, yeah, but you know that 50% of people believe? Okay, I don't care. If you can measure it, it doesn't matter what 50% of people believe.
No, anytime someone says a statistic that has to do with people's brains, I'm like, that cat, because you can't really figure that out like that.
No. Anytime.
How that works.
Literally, we were going through a period of time where people would deny science, and what would they give in return is, but my opinion is, and if this many people's opinion is this, it must be right.
Exactly. That's stupid.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
People apply that same thought to history. They apply that same thought to
that doesn't make
money.
sense. That doesn't make sense. I fully understand that doesn't make sense.
That when you, so for instance, we'll take World War II. There are specifics that we know.
Yes.
We can have long conversations on the specifics without having to know.
What I was trying to say is my perspective is so very different.
Do you know which pieces are opinion and which pieces are facts? That's what matters. Do you have to identify
really
which?
Sure.
See, that's okay. That makes sense because opinions are worthless. Not that they're not valid for conversation, but in the end, the groundwork of conversation is working your way through opinions to get to bedrock. Where's the line? That we have all this opinion, we have all this fact. Part of your job, not here, I mean in life, if you want to be somebody that actually questions things, the place you should start is your opinions. Spending all of your time outside of you will never conquer that. I know whose opinion you don't trust. It dawned on me halfway through this conversation. It's all projection.
I don't mean to say
that the reason you don't trust anybody's opinions is because you don't trust yours.
I don't want to demean anyone's experience of anything or anyone's like life spent looking at something. I don't want to demean that at all. I only mean to say that I don't fully understand what I know.
Right.
And I know for a fact that I don't fully understand what they know. And I can't fully figure out everything.
No.
So I don't try to. I just.
But the part you have to fully figure out is the only part you can.
Yeah.
There's only one opinion you have to get rid of.
What do you mean get rid of?
Get rid of. There's only mine. The only opinion I need to get rid of is mine.
I can't get rid of my opinion. I don't think that it's possible. I don't think that's
possible. Well,
possible.
Opinion is all ego.
Well, the thing is, even if you look at the way we live life, everything is seen through your eyes. I can't get rid of what I see. That doesn't make any sense.
Why would I trust my perspective? I already know it lies to me.
Well, I know that, yes. That's
so you already know you're trusting a liar. There's a liar whispering in your ear and you're walking down the road with him.
The liar is way to go? The liar is the only thing that I have. It's the only thing that I have at all. The only thing that I can see and actually...
But who's in control of that?
Myself.
Oh.
But what I'm saying is like, okay, say for instance a song. I can see a hit song, like it's an actual hit. Like other people like it and people are listening to it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I can see that song, listen to that song for myself, and be like, I don't like that song.
That's okay.
Doesn't take away that it has whatever
That's
it's doing,
not
whatever.
That's
No,
not projected.
I'm not saying it's projected. I'm saying
here's the difference.
Mhm.
You're admitting that's opinion. Remember?
yes.
So the
Yes.
difference is whether you
That's
let
an
the
opinion.
liar lie,
That's an opinion.
but the parts where you let the liar lie is where you've got to deal with it.
Mm.
Not, oh yeah, I like red. No, that's not okay. You're not like attached to that. That's not like. Of course, there are things you like and don't like.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what we're talking about. You know it.
Okay. I'm trying to think of an example or way that we could talk about this that I could.
Well, that you can understand.
That I could figure out. That I could navigate.
So okay.
That I could, yeah.
The reality.
So that I could get the thoughts that I have in my head out and discuss them. That's what I'm saying.
The point is the difference between opinions and facts.
Okay.
That if I let the thing in perspective, right? We've all agreed now that perspective lies.
Right.
We probably didn't need to all kill Caesar. God, I keep trying, don't I? Part two. We're hot shots, man. We're just going with it today. Okay? Got some things to talk about. Know what I'm saying? We're working over here. That I try to get rid of everything I think I know.
Mm.
Because it clouds perspective. That if you're going to actually get to answers, you have to be able to assess things and then move on. Not be attached to the results.
Right.
If you're attached to the results, you've already ruined the results. Schrodinger's cat. Once you open the box, the cat's dead, the cat's alive.
Right.
No, literally. Being attached to that concept is something I have had to let go of. The idea of me, I don't have enough ego for that anymore.
Well, my thought isn't that. My thought has always been that everything that I see is from my perspective. Therefore, all I have to understand or to navigate from or to figure out is my perspective.
So that's the one
That's
thing.
all that I got. Because everything else, I don't know what you're seeing. I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know what's going on from your perspective. The best I can do is talk to you and try and get your perspective from your words or from the way that you communicate.
We call it compassionate listening, and where that is the idea that you listen really. You're present. You're not thinking of an answer. You're not working on what am I going to say next.
Right.
What you're working on is how can I hear this person?
Right. What is this person trying to tell me?
That it's okay. So I think of it as like gates we put in front of ourselves. We hold ourselves back. Each thing you let go of,
Mm-hmm.
each supposition, each lie in your head,
Mm-hmm.
because the only place you can work is on setting down those lies. You go, oh, but it's hard work.
Mm-hmm.
You got to logic each one out and then set it the fuck down.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean that pail ain't still sitting there. It doesn't mean you won't revisit that. Don't pick it back up.
Mm-hmm.
But the only place you can work on it is however you work on it inside.
Right.
I think that's the big difference. That's why I stray away from theistic, worshiping of Caesars, Augustus, Julius, thinking of them as man and God, Christ along the way is the next big one in the Roman Empire. That's why they were so accepting of the idea of Christ as being both man and God. The reality is Julian Augie had already made that claim. Hey, yep, I'm man and God. But it's kind of, when you see that, it's why it was so accepted that, hey, Messiah, yeah, we're down.
Okay.
That's why 400 years later, basically, you get Christianity. Yay,
Right.
18. 400 years later, after Jesus and all of that. I mean, it takes a while to get all that going.
Is
Paul-
Nero after Caesar or before Caesar?
All of that's after. We don't get Caesar's.
Okay. So Caesar happened after Jesus.
Okay.
Right?
No, I'm not. I can't pull the timeline
That's
out
why I
right
was
now.
confused.
We're gonna get
Sorry.
the timeline
I
doesn't
was trying to figure
matter.
that out. I was trying to figure it out. Sorry. was a question I had. Sorry.
We're talking about people that claim they're a man of God. Uh, I have totally lost focus. That I dig a non-theistic outlook is the reality. That I grew up in a Judeo-Christian background. I'm not a big deal on the idea that Julie or Augie were God, as far as in the Roman Empire.
Right.
Not a big one on Thor. I like to kind of find what I can. That Julius had some interesting stuff. I've read some Julius Caesar. Not bad stuff.
Really? Wrote stuff.
Yeah. He kept journals while he was running the army.
Oh.
There's Caesar's Gaul. He goes up into the Britons, I believe. We didn't read a ton of it. I didn't take third and fourth year Latin, but I mean,
didn't know that.
yeah,
They
yeah, no,
started in Latin.
yeah, no. It's one of the most common things you read. It's one of the things you read a lot of time is Julius Caesar.
Okay.
The point is, in the end, watch this. What killed Caesar was opinions. The fact was he'd been doing a pretty good job.
Right.
He got a little high on his britches, to be honest. But the more you're attached to what you think you know, instead of accepting that you know just a tiny little bit about all of it, because really all any of us know is a tiny little bit about all of it. That thing you specialize in, that you're sure you're an expert in, relate it to the universe. You know this much. There are basketball players on Gazorp that make Michael Jordan look like he can't even play basketball. That even though he feels like he's the biggest expert in the world at basketball, now that Kobe's in, just starting trouble. That on Gazorp, there's a basketball player that's even better. Always figure there's somebody doing it better than you, and that somebody knows more than you. The second you're sure you know more than everybody else, you are rife for the fall. Because what happens is you cover yourself in opinions to guard yourself from the truth, instead of dealing with the monster that's lying to you inside. If anybody can put that sentence together in a reasonable diagram,
is it possible
where it makes
to be
sense,
the best?
let me know.
Is it possible to be the best at anything?
How do you measure it? Against what?
Good question.
I don't measure shit. Everybody spends all their time measuring crap. My struggle's so much worse than yours. Measure it. My is bigger than yours. Measure it. She's got bigger than. Measure it. Oh, he's got more money than.
What's
measure
the value?
it.
What's the value in improving? If there's nothing to. No, I don't know.
Is
there any value in improving?
Yeah, you compare it to you, and you're a better person. You remember Groundhog's Day? We're going to talk about Groundhog's Day. I love Groundhog's Day. It's one of my favorite movies. Guess what? It's Groundhog's Day again. Damn, I wish all.
What?
In you. If I had I Got You ready, I would have just played it. That would have been awesome. But the whole point, I don't care whether you look at reincarnation, look at your life, how you divide up the concept that Bill Murray is stuck for thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
Let's cut it up into the first section. Material desire. He goes after money, he goes after ladies, he goes after booze.
He goes after everything.
It's not satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
Then he makes every focus in his existence on another person. Does everything he can to get that girl. Doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
He falls short. Then he starts perfecting himself and just living compassionately in his world.
Mm.
He starts helping it. He fills his time with just being a good person.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels good.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets the girl.
Mm-hmm.
God, I love a good rom-com. But the point is, it's when you give up the part where, no, I know what I need. I know what I want. I know who I am. You define yourself. Then you go, I'm a better person with this person. You define yourself. When you finally let go and go, no, I'm here and I exist here. The experiences you can have in a single day go.
Is there a difference in defining and refining? Because my thought process when you said that was, is it more useful to figure out what's not something worth figuring out?
I think a lot of people feel that way. I'm not gonna. I think that's a duality that helps a lot of people.
Okay.
That I think if you can, I talk about separating the wheat from the chaff.
As opposed to nailing
So if
down
you think
what
about-
you are, trying to figure out what you're not, so that you can know what areas to look at and to meander
Right.
through.
I think every kernel has value, a lesson in it,
Mhm.
good or bad. See that someone was asking, how do I deal with a braggart? That was like, okay, if I'm a Buddhist, how do I deal with a braggart? My response, which wasn't necessarily Buddhist or anything, was, I think everybody I run into has something to teach me. Some of them teach me how much they don't know about something. Some of them teach me not to trust the things they say. Some of them teach me to trust the things they say. Some of them teach me to not walk this way home again because this is a boring conversation. All of it has value.
Okay.
Every second.
Right.
Every second you're here, if you got that, and this is where I'm going to get all new agey, sorry guys. If you got that ambient knowledge going, there's stuff to learn. Always. Every moment. Right. If you're not here, though, you can't learn nothing. The only place you can learn anything, right here. Studio 586B, where's the line? No, I meant here, like present in the moment.
Yeah.
On Studio 586, sorry. I'm a wacky radio guy. Watch me talk about monster trucks. But the point is that once you peel away the onion down to like what you're doing is not adding all of your see, we call it all perspective. This is really all bias. And I don't mean it in the traditional bias against or yeah, I do, but it doesn't. I'm not adding all the racist undertones. I'm suggesting bias in everything you do. That's what's attached to your perspective. That's where opinion comes from. The problem is we know back here with our perspective, it will lie to us to fit our bias and opinions so that we don't release the wrong drugs in our system. Don't want to freak you out.
I think that I view life like a buffet, and I pick what I know I like, and if there's other foods that I might like, I'm okay with not trying them. I'm okay with not having if somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, you might like this food, or I tried this food and I liked it, I'll go out and try it, and if I like it, then I might add that to the things that I pick.
Okay.
The next time I go to the buffet.
We'll extend it to a buffet.
Uh-huh.
First off, who told you get to pick what you eat? The universe is going to shove stuff down your throat, and you're going to be irritated that you're eating stuff you didn't want to.
Okay.
So best we better get over whether or not we're picking what we're eating. If we don't pick what we're eating, the universe will definitely fill our plate. The universe will fill our plate either way. And it will put liver and onions on there every time. And you'll have to get through eating liver and onions. You'll have to. There's no way around it. What's something you hate? Do you like liver and onions?
I don't think I've ever tried liver, but I don't like onions.
What's the food you hate more than anything in the world?
Mushrooms.
Okay. So day after day, mushroom head after mushroom head forced down your throat. Because life's going to give you what you're not ready for. That was bad. Sorry. But my point is, it's be out of your control, and you're fighting every day with why isn't it in my control? The world's going to bring you a buffet. Downside.
I never thought about life like that.
But when you think of it, like, there are going to be things on this buffet that grandma's making you eat.
Mm.
But do you follow that we fight every day with the idea, oh, man, I'm going to have to eat mushrooms today. Man, I'm going to have to eat mushrooms today. Man, I'm going to have to eat mushrooms today.
Okay, let me rephrase it then. I'm gonna eat whatever's on my plate.
No, what I'm trying...
But I still want to pick what I want, I guess.
You're still trying to predict what I'm trying to say is, life has taught you don't have that control, that you're fighting constantly to have. And that's why you're constantly fighting with yourself.
I don't always think that's true.
So, when Brad and Angelina were at the buffet, they were like, hey, let's get the divorce plate?
I don't know how that went.
Well, but it wasn't amicable. It wasn't a good time, was it? Would you have picked that at the buffet?
No.
Okay.
I don't know that situation. I'm sorry.
Two people we don't know are getting divorced. Is that something people pick?
Maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know the situation. You can't use that like it's a catch-all.
You're way
overthinking. I don't know
this.
Situation.
Yeah, you're just...
My thought is, if there's something on my plate, I have to eat it. Okay? If there's something on my plate that I don't like, I have to eat it. If there's something on my plate that I like, I have to eat it. In life, I'm going to try and choose what I like so that I eat it. But
in the end,
that's the thought. I don't know.
Hot Shots Part 2. The reality is that, you know what? That's why we're here figuring it out. One day at a time. Facts, opinions, trying to find the line. Whether you like it or not, you'll get Augustus on your plate when Caesar's gone. That in the end, there will be a Charlie Sheen Part 2. We will all drink the dragon blood. I love you, brother. Chicken and biscuits.
See ya.
Chicken and biscuits, I said.
What?
Chicken and biscuits. Chicken and biscuits. Charlie Sheen, Dragon Blood. You get to the point where you're just fighting me to fight me. I'm just give up.
I'm not fighting you to fight you. I don't know what that had to do with what you were saying or what you were trying to say.
We were talking about a buffet and the idea that no, you don't get to pick everything you eat.
I know that you don't get to pick
nobody
everything
picks
you
divorce,
eat.
and you want it off, and I'm just going to fight you to fight.
I know that you don't get to...
Okay, all right. It was literally just to fight me to fight. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Nobody picks divorce. Like, yes, there's a moment where that might be the right decision, but nobody's like, oh, I'm at the buffet, let's make this happen. Okay, it's a bad time in everybody's life. It was an easy thing for everybody to just go, yes. Nobody picks that. That was the only point. I don't know where the fuck your head went.
No concept of that shit. I don't know, man.
You didn't need any concept. It's a bullshit excuse. It's just being contrary to be contrary.
It's not being contrary
Yes,
to
it
being
is.
contrary.
Literally.
Some people like getting